Hello and welcome back to the Necromancer's Tale. Welcome back to the Seance. We've finally convinced Diedrich to let us do the Seance to talk to our father. And by convince, I really mean like we failed to convince everybody, and Diedrich was like, okay, you're really bad at this. We'll do it. We'll do it together. Diedrich has agreed to be my Seance witness outside our family crypt in the morning. This is the wrong gate. Dead Man's Gate. He said he'd come in the morning. So let's go straight there and waste no time today. We are broke. Too many people know our secrets. Things are kind of a mess. All right, come on. In we go. I don't think anyone will bother us in the crypt. Certainly, at least that's my hope. Let's quick save just in case. Like, I don't think we need to do, like, the Dominion of Phobos. I will light that torch, though. Too dark in here. This was the place I could contact my father. I was ready. I took a deep breath, inviting the cool, bitter air of the burial chamber into my nostrils. Ash and rot flavored the stale atmosphere, and the heat rose from my body in waves, eager and anxious. At the periphery of my vision, fretful spirits skittered in the dark. A shadow dance of the disquieted dead. When I looked in their direction, the apparitions melted into the stone, and I could not help but think of my father laid to rest in these cold walls. How long had it taken him to join their ranks, to waltz among the departed? My ruminations were interrupted by a cautious coughing. Seeking my attention, the noise mingled with the dripping water that bled through the masonry. I turned to face my accomplice. A nervous expression was plastered across Diedrich's face, complemented by the ringing, uneasy motion of his hands. This place is rather dismal, don't you think? I mean, the hospital was a far more miserable place than this. A puzzled expression passed his face. Was it? That place had life in it, but here at least there's nothing but the stale odor of death. But I suppose that's why we came. I nodded and began to remove the contents from my satchel. The cumbersome brazier came to hand first. The metal, perhaps anointed by some priest, stung my skin when I touched it. Eager to be rid of the sensation, I placed the brazier along with a neat pile of wood at the center of the table. Around this, I arranged a circle of candles and then stood for a moment and bowed my head. I actually only had 4 candles, so I don't know if I only actually needed 1. It was time. I motioned for Diedrich to move towards the brazier, but he instead took a single step backwards. Those candles, that fire, this certainly is a ritual, isn't it? Are you sure about this? Isn't there maybe some other way? In the shadows around his pale face, I could sense the swirling spirits, hear them murmur in judgment. What a shame that they should bear witness to this nervous impunity. I must speak with my father. The trail has run dry. I understand that you wish to speak with him, but are we sure such a thing is even possible, that there isn't some more practical way to go about this? I know what I'm doing here. I mean, I guess that's kind of true. Your call could not connect. Please try your seance again. I've read the books. I've practiced the incantations. If you've seen what I've already done, this is merely a continuation. I'm not sure I can stomach this. It's all a bit too much, don't you think? I will not suffer this insolence, Diedrich. I need to see this through. Imagine if you could speak with your parents. My father's spirit is agitated, perhaps even tortured. If your mother and father were in such a state, eager to hear from you, would you not do everything you could to reach them beyond the veil? I suppose I would. If this goes well, perhaps we could commune with them as well, though maybe the dead are best left alone. We should get started. With the matter settled, I began the final preparation for the ritual. I removed the Senegalia Senegal from its container and cast it into the flames. It burned slowly and produced a delicate lace-like smoke, but it gave off no spell. Sean, welcome. You're just in time. 4 hours late, the truck kept stalling. Oh, dude, no good. At least you made it. Or, I guess at least you made it back. At last, I produced the small ring which had graced my father's hand for so many years. It gleamed in the unsteady light of the fire, and I felt the air around me hum with anticipation. I looked at my companion one last time. His face was unsteady and seemed to shift in the firelight, becoming populated now then by spirits and expressions which were not his own. I squinted past the apparitions at his worried expression. Remember, you must record everything. Do not miss a word we say. I placed the ring into the flame and took my companion's hand. At last, we began the incantation. Our beloved Zelig, we bring you gifts from life into death. Commune with us and move among our number. As the words left our mouths, the shadows swirled and fled upwards. They grew into a billowing wisp of fog, which clung to the corners of the room and wrapped themselves around the flame. They wavered in this state, unsteady. I focused on my father's ring, redoubling my mental efforts. Mana increased to 2. The fog shifted into a cloudscape of black and gray, drowning out the dim candlelight. The sound of the old chamber sank away, and I could hear only my companion's nervous breathing until all that was consumed by the dark. Slowly, from that undulating blackness, a faint light began to glow. I felt the force of my father coalesce before me. I felt my spine stiffen as if it had whenever he entered the room. I felt the hairs on the back of my neck prickle under his watchful, expectant gaze. But most of all, I felt his anger, which crackled through the blackness. Whoa. Cool. Had to take a picture of that. I've come to speak with you, Father.
I had wondered how long it would take.
I knew this was Zelig. I felt his words pass through my own body, lifted through his own mouth, and cast into the world by my own lips. Around him, other phantoms murmured, but the force of his spirit was stronger, dominant, even here amongst the dead.
This is what has become of my son. Raised to be a noble, and now a tavern keeper's minion.
Oh. Well, what were the other options? A teacher? A dock worker? He paused, a deep and hollow intake of breath forcing its way through my own lungs.
The spirits mark how far our house has fallen, but I trust that you are here to remedy the matter.
I am. As he spoke, the shadows around him became more agitated, elongating themselves with deformed wisps and melted faces that spoke in my direction. Their language was a buzzing hum which made my father's words difficult to comprehend.
To think, brought so low, my own flesh. It will be fixed.
The wraiths swirled about his form, making a mockery of our communion. They too spoke through my mouth. Tisk tisk, not safe to speak with this one. Up to all manners of things he is. Challenge these spirits or cast them away? I'll challenge them. Why do you disturb a father and his son? What business do you have with us? Business, no business. Warnings, condemnations, but no business. Your father, a powerful one he is, but dangerous. Most dangerous. The reason we're here. The one who sent us here in his way. His voice, in control of me again, reverberated through the ether, echoing against the stone walls of the burial chamber. The chamber itself had become a distant memory, some space I had inhabited long ago, but which seemed to no longer exist. From afar, or perhaps from long ago, I heard a familiar whimper struggle through the darkness.
Let us speak now, plainly and quickly, for there is not much time, and my mind is troubled by the tenuous bridge between us. If you have come to me in this manner, then you have found the book.
The book?
Yes, the book. You have tried your hand at the secret things. For once, I am pleased with your impudence.
Thank you, Daddy.
As you must suspect, my death was no accident. It was a murder. A crime of blood against blood. Brother against brother.
Knew it.
Your Uncle Gervais is the fiend that killed me.
At first, I did not comprehend the words and could not take in their meaning. I felt as though the spirits were continuing to play cruel jokes at my expense, but the significance of his accusation calcified before me. His brother, my uncle, the perpetrator of all this, how could it be? Do not doubt what I have told you, my son. Was I not always an honest man? It is the unfortunate truth. My own blood, brought low and vicious, did end my life. How? Why? The lust for power can overcome even the ties of fraternity. Do not forget this, my son. His booming voice was a low whisper now, hissing through my lungs and seething with disdain. He killed me with a blade through the heart, the wretch. His voice boomed through me, the low tones of his fury rattling my ribs and lungs. Again, I heard a whimper in the distant place of time, along with the hurried scratches of quill against parchment, or was it claws against bones? We were speaking privately in my study when he seized his opportunity. I turned away for a moment and heard the metal scrape against its sheath, but thought nothing of it. It was my own brother, after all. Sorrow and fury colored the deep tenor of his voice, even as it erupted from my own chest. It seemed my brother had political designs which necessitated my removal. My removal! He has long aligned himself with these fools of old tradition, the ones who fear what our new science might uncover. They are the foundation of his power, and like them, he dreads what he does not understand. I long stood against their influence, against their petty ignorance, but evidently I stood too firmly for Gervais's liking. The devil take him. With me gone, the guilds are more pliable. The city guard is firmly within his grasp, and the sciences which I patronized are in danger. The fiend could not hope to win against me on an open field of influence, so he debased himself with blade and blood. Blade and blood. I linger here before you now in anguished spirit. What would you have me do? Ah, if my heart could be warmed in this insufferable ether, my child's devotion would be the fire. You must avenge my murder. You must undo your uncle and his small-minded machinations. He's building an army to wage a zealot's war on science. We cannot allow him to succeed, lest I be trapped in this realm for all eternity. Man, I've really been helping the military out too. Whoops. I just want to settle my daddy issues. Thanks for everything. Speak to you never again. Study the book, learn its art. It holds great power that will reunite us on firm footing. Then as father and son, we can set the world in order. His voice was booming now, a great tempest of fury and commanding coming from my chest. My throat becomes hoarse as the words erupted from me until at last I began to falter and the apparition grew more vague and inconcrete. You must grow stronger. My brother's castle holds many secrets, many weaknesses. You must find a way inside. Then together, we, father-son, can avenge. My father's body blended into the fog and the anger of his expression billowed and sulked away. His voice finally dissolved into the frothing blackness until the fog began to clear and I saw the candles flicker once more like distant stars coming into focus. The memory of the conversation began to fade at once as the dream burned away by morning light. And I saw Diedrich sitting in the cold stone, the quill trembling in his hand. Did you get it all? Hear it all? I lost him far too soon and already my mind grows foggy. The words were spoke like vaporous dreams. I think I did. I think I got it all. Then hand me that parchment, will you? With a shaking hand, he holds me the paper, and I snatch it eagerly. The expression of fear and confusion colored his pale face. Perhaps it's time I left. His trust decreases by 10. That's still fine. He's like 85. I did not even acknowledge him as he left, as I was focused on cleansing away the ritual items, with my mind ablaze with what I had learned. Yes, very good. Very good. Steadily, we become a more powerful monster. Spirit Slave, Chapter 9. I'm noticing this, like, there's a red orb behind me. It's like a Diablo health pool, and it's been getting more and more full. It's about 50% right now. I need to infiltrate his castle. Hey, those look like purple cave mushrooms. Nah, this place is full of ghouls again. I think unless I have like a reason. I'm like, who is this person nearby? And then I'm like, oh, Marijan. Wait, I can talk to Marijan? What are you doing out here?
A fine day to you.
Who do you visit here? I visit all those here, for the human condition is one of sorrow, and I came to reflect and pray for the poor departed. Ugh. I'm like, I'm gonna pick a random option that I haven't picked. -2 trust. Homie bailed after the seance. Yeah, I mean, fair. Can I wear these pants? What about this bodice? Now we're looking so sexy. I mean, I know it's a bodice, but it does kind of look good. I don't know. I want to wear these like strangers' clothes that we found.
I'll open the gate. Quick, get inside.
All right. Well, the first answer is to always go talk to the butler. There was a knock at the door, and immediately a hooded figure bustled inside beside me. It was the witch, Rosario. We got to speak. Privately. I bring her to my chambers, give her a good tumble. We have a common enemy, the Wolf of Marnes, Gervase. He builds an army as we speak, I'm sure you've noticed. What makes him your enemy? He's the enemy of anyone who does not understand, anyone that represents difference or progress. Rosario's normally impenetrable expression broke for a moment, and I saw deep sadness in her eyes. He's done much wickedness to my sisters. Perhaps we will learn one day. How do you know that he's my enemies? I see a lot and I know a lot. In this realm and the other, I know what he did. And you didn't tell me? You had to discover the truth for yourself. Otherwise, what reason would you have to believe me? What's his army for? A great political ambition. He immediate goals may be local. He surely looks further afield. We must learn more about the Baron's plan. You must leverage your family's connection to do so. You must infiltrate the keep. Show me your spellbook, the one I returned to you. Yeah, well, she's helped me out so much. Obviously, I'm going to show her the spell. There's great power in this book, as you know. I cannot understand a lot of it. However, take a look at this page. Describes a ritual to enslave a spirit that could be used for spying. This word, Zechariah. You must refer to the text, the book of Zechariah. Find this holy book. It may hold the key to the script in these pages. She handed the book back to me, open on a page depicting an ancient grave and some kind of artifacts. It's too dangerous for me to approach the city. I must flee now. Do not expect me to see me here in person, but watch out for my bird. All right, the Holy Book of Zechariah. I'm sure we can find that. My own brother murdered me with words, "Long live the Necromancer." He threw me off the cliff right into the horde of ghouls. I mean, we're definitely going to do some ghouling.
Can I help you, my lord?
All right. Nothing new from you. Obviously, I wonder if the kitty cats also belong to the witches. So, first place to look for books is the Academy. Oh, was that Nico outside?
Hello again.
No. Ibrahim.
Good day.
No.
You will come again, yes?
The Holy Book of Common Alchemy. Several alchemicals mixers stood out. Oil of vitriol, the most obvious. The blacksmith or apothecary were the obvious suspects, but I couldn't imagine what either of them would want with bodies. Perhaps they obtained it from a smuggler or fence. So I got a feeling as the game goes on and we start raising an army, we're going to end up like going to war with the other countries nearby. Battle of the Marked Cross, the final dance. See if this holy book is here somewhere. I guess the obvious other place would be if we went and checked the cathedral. But we also get a tummy ache every time we go there. So I don't know that that's the right choice. There's nothing new in here we don't know about, do we? Mugwort. Gentle sedative. Protects against evil and wards off danger during travels. Oil of mugwort to magical tools to consecrate and cleanse them of unwanted influence. Mandrake's root in autumn. Boil the milk in cow's milk and fill a poultice to soothe skin ulcers. Oh. So we can probably help out the guy in the hospital potentially with that. How long is the game? It's apparently about 40 hours. 30 to 40 hours. Increase fertility and promote safe labor as a powerful protection amulet. And can be burned over hot coals to strengthen clairvoyance. Wolfsbane, also late autumn. A potent poison. Reduce fever, calm a cold. Applied to a blade or a bait of a trap can kill a werewolf. Now, we haven't seen a werewolf, but we've seen lots of other monsters. just check upstairs real fast. Fortunate lady. Book of Zechariah. I feel like I've definitely seen this book somewhere. So we'll try the cathedral. Oh, I can't enter the cathedral anymore. I instantly pass out. It's not in my library, is it? I mean, we have a lot of libraries books. We are the danger during travels. I mean, that's probably not inaccurate. Every time I mention finale, it adds another 6 hours. Well, I don't expect to be anywhere near the finale lately. Oh, a cat. Nothing of interest. Well, not going to be here, I guess. Mama is asleep. Book of Zechariah. A holy book. The market? Aha. As soon as I approached the market square, I could hear the murmurs of many voices raised in hushed excitement. I was unsure of their origin, as an eager mob sounds not unlike the Whispering Dead, but these mutterings seemed more human the closer I stepped.
At last, the crowd has reached the swelling proportions which might entice our main attraction. You see, fair citizens of Mars, he is not
Cozy
going
kitty
to
cat.
perform for any paltry rabble. Any small collection
Got two cats on the couch next to me here.
Not at all. He must have an audience worthy of his might, his splendor, and his terror.
The last word rolled off the man's tongue with an elongated, fading trail. He stood atop a small platform, and his thick mustache wiggled with each phrase, loftily cast towards the crowd. Behind him, a small curtained enclosure brimmed with theatrical energy.
Prepare yourself, dear audience, for I, the great
This guy sounds like a
Marconi,
wizard.
will guide this creature towards a wondrous performance, the likes of which you have never witnessed. Yes, I think at last the object of our amazement is upon us.
The huckster waved dramatically towards the curtains, and the crowd's murmur dropped into an anticipatory hush. Then nothing much happened as the wind kicked against the draped fabric.
Once more I say, I think the object of our amazement is upon us.
A rumbling growl rose from inside the enclosure, and after a short, furious delay, a beast burst through the curtains. It stood 2 heads taller than any man in the crowd and was coated in thick ursine fur. Its claws and teeth gleamed in the light, too pristine for any wild animal, and its arms stretched outwards before the great bear fell on all fours and scanned the gathered crowds. This is definitely a guy in a bear suit. Yeah. He's literally got stitches, and you can see his eyeballs.
Here he is at last. Behold my captive audience, the splendor of Rulston in all his unchained might. From the mountains of Mitre he comes to you, eager to perform.
That's too funny.
Now, I see some of you step back with apprehension. I see the unease upon your faces, for a wild bear stands before you with no sign of constraint. But I assure you, there is no danger here.
There is always
for
something
I,
happening in this game.
The great Marconi have raised this bear from a cub, and he harbors no ill will towards man. Quite the contrary. It has become his greatest pleasure to perform. Is that not right, my ursine companion? You see, fair citizens of Carnick, Mons, he only wants to entertain. And as it turns out, the great beast has a fondness for music. Please allow me to demonstrate.
At this, the great Marconi produced a small concertina and began to play. The bear, with a few lumbering movements, stood upright and swayed along to the melody. Laughs burst from the crowd, a mix of relief and amazement.
No ballerina to be sure, but fair-footed just the same. And even with a penchant for song. Oh, the mountains they do sing, with stony melody of a great land which all have loved to see. See! We're
not exposing this guy. This guy, this is basically Sir Barrington.
Ho 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 ho! A baritone fit for the opera, I do believe.
The show would continue, it seems, in this fashion for quite some time. I keep watching.
Yes, I see the audience has become more rapt. Excellent. But I also see some skeptics among you.
He's going to talk poetry?
To dismiss this as girl over here, girl over there, girl through the rest, girl through the girl over park, girl over pale.
I love this. This is great. I love how this has nothing to do with the plot. At least so far. The recitation of verse culminated with a tremendous roar. This sent some of the audience into shivers, though the eloquence of the wild beasts strained belief. This is art, right? I stepped closer. I pushed past several spectators to get a better look. From here, I could see the theatrical grease paint plastered across the Grace Marconi's face, but the bear bore far more curious details. I looked at the bear's fur. It hung strangely on the animal's body. Despite some groomer's best efforts, patches seemed to flow in entirely different directions, especially around the joints. The coat resembled patchwork, more manufactured than natural. His paws seemed stiff and unpliable, as though the digits could not move independently. This was all the more odd when compared to the back feet, which bent strangely at the ankles, giving the impression of a man's boots. In his eyes, they were glassy and fixed. They did not dart from side to side or track any of the spectators that stood before them. They resembled the eyes of taxidermied animals, dull in likeness, but with an unnatural shrine. Wait for the performance to finish. After a bit more song and dance, the great beast uttered a final roar and the crowd burst into applause. Marconi stepped forward, a beaming smile across his face and an upturned hat in his hand. Magnificent, is he not? A creature like this works up quite an appetite with his performance, and we must endeavor to keep him fed, as his joys for song do not turn into a bestial rage. Good people of, Barnes, I entreat you, reward this fine creature. Coins into the hat, others smiled and looked away, their purse strings tightly cinched. I put a coin in the hat. The great Marconi smiled and winked in my direction. Right, I'm afraid our friend must rest. Worry not, citizens. He will sing again this evening. Make sure to bring your friends and do not doubt when they tell you of great Marconi and the singing bear. As the crowd dispersed, I wondered, was something here more at play, and considered returning later the evening when the beast might be resting unattended. Everybody else just hanging out here. Marconi's bear was sleeping in the cage. Since it was morning, the marketplace was too busy to investigate further. I don't know how or why I even have to pass investigation checks here, but sure. What am I looking for? A book. Why do I think they're going to have it here? Wife of Zachariah. A holy book. I don't know, man. Maybe Dietrich's grandmother? Stays locked in a cage all day? Oh, she also has practical herbalism here.
Oh, hello again.
Huge basement. Okay. Nikos? Nah, this guy's got nothing. He's my old gardener. I feel like I've still never entered Sophia's house, which I thought was here. But maybe I just like don't have access yet. Oh, there's Irving. Just the man I'm looking for. You don't have the book I'm looking for. Huh. It really feels like this would be in the cathedral. The chapel? Offer to make him a zombie bear? It's not a bad idea. Sick as soon as I stepped inside. I can at least get holy water here. The Book of Zechariah. All right, well, we have to work, and we have to also see if we can break into the castle. I mean, I'm obviously going to need this book to break inside the castle. But I can at least talk to the guard.
My lord, the Baron is still keeping his own counsel.
I wish entrance to my uncle's estate. Please step aside. Even you don't have the power to waltz into his keep. As a matter of fact, and please don't waste time trying to convince me to relinquish entry. I am briefed upon Lord Gervaisi's business, and unfortunately your involvement falls outside his concern. There's no way I can convince you to let me to pass? If there was, I wouldn't be a very good guard now, was I? Let's find a more nefarious way of gaining entrance. Check the area to see what I can find. There's a hiding spot. I don't really want to just sit here and wait. Oh, I didn't even know I could go down here, dude. Oh, this is where the guard I was hitting on hangs out. She said there was a beach down here, and I just never found it. Huh. Huh. Gonna teleport to the other side of the castle. See if there's any way in here. So this is the castle wall. Certainly not that way. Not looking likely. You know, we've really not spent any time in this southern noble quarter. Not that we like have a reason to be here, but I'm just shocked that like nothing has given us a reason to be here. Should I just be murdering nobles and making skeletons out of them, maybe? This is the back of the school. Get a friend to go into the cathedral. It's a possible option. Right now, I guess we'll hide out. Xandrify, how we doing? It's morning, so we could at least sit here and wait a little bit. Eventually, I noticed a soldier approaching the gate.
Business.
Spoke quietly to Andreas for a few moments, and he stiffened, his jaw clenching tight as his teeth ground together. He motioned the door, stepped to the side, and motioned for the man to pass, keeping his eyes purposefully downcast. I don't know that I want to spend 2 points on this. I think we have other ways in here. Small mouth and narrow lips were quite distinctive. Should I need to identify him again? Perhaps I could use this information to gain access somehow. Anything else happen?
State your business.
Okay, just that. All right, well. Oh, what are all these guys doing here? Cluster of soldiers engaged in husk conversation. They appeared incongruous, showing little interest in the bustling activity around them. We're trying to have a private conversation here, grunt. Shove off, mate, we're busy. Whisper.
Good day.
Machka.
The barracks are close to civilians.
May I tarry a while? Oh, no.
Farewell.
Well, that's suspicious. All right, it's still morning. Let's pass some time and go to work. God knows I'm broke as hell right now. Ale barrels could use a good scrubbing. Classic. Pretty straightforward job. Not really what a necromancer should be doing in his free time, but like, you know. Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. Okay. Still afternoon.
Hello.
Oh. Yeah, you were right. I seek a holy book called the Book of Zechariah. Could you search the cathedral for it? Wouldn't it be easy to ask Father Huber about it yourself? Spinner a convincing lie. I already asked him. He won't let me take it. You see, I need to read it during a blessing over my father's ashes. I'll do my best. Come back to me later. Yes. All right, well, what else do we have to do? This to-do list is always going to be here because I got this way before I was meant to be able to get it. We could check with our homie at the other bar just to see whether or not anyone has bought any of that oil. Without our undead army to overthrow the Empire, we sadly need to work for money.
How can I help you, boy?
I already paid you. Wow, this is another dead end. If this is the case, I'm literally just going to advance time again. Sophia, you got that book?
Hello.
Did you find the book? Ran into Annie going into the library. She's hot on you. Ask her out on a proper date. All right. I can always use more sacrifices. Sniff? Why sniff? As I approached the child, she let out a wail, eyes filling to the brim with droplets of water caught in the light. She sniffled and wiped the tears from her eyes with a grimy bit of cloth. Yes, sir. What's wrong, little Ida? Her voice dissolved into a sob, fresh drops and rivulets down her face. Do not fret, child. Tell me your troubles. The moment I spoke, she cried out and ran off. Then Lucas arrived with a sack of supplies. Leland ran up and cowered beside him. What's upset Ida? Leland, do you know? We're just children, master. Don't mind us any. With that, he chased after the girl.
I am Leland, a thoughtful boy.
I'm afraid the children don't tend to open up to adults they don't know well. Don't worry, I'll make sure the girl is okay.
Hello again.
All right, well. Messina, what are you doing in here?
Welcome.
Let's go speak to the lady and go invite her on a date. Gareth, how we doing, dude?
Hello
Welcome,
again.
welcome. Would you care to accompany me on a rendezvous this evening? We've not had a proper date. A rendezvous? That sounds like a splendid idea, especially given all the madness in town. Shall we meet at Garnet's and go from there? Yes, at Garnet's, and then a sunset stroll, perhaps. Sounds wonderful. I'll see you this evening. Time to take you outside the walls and murder you so I can have fresh corpses. All right, well, wait a minute. It's evening right now. The sun had yet to set, but several patrons chatted boisterously at Garnet's. Sudden sharp bursts of laughter grated against my ear and mingled with a strange whispering hum which scratched at my temples. Annie was waiting at a table by the stairs, studying the rafters with a bored expression. She turned towards me as I approached, a little more quickly than she intended. You know, some people consider it poor manners to keep a lady waiting. Annie, I literally teleported here. I left the library, teleported here, and somehow you beat me inside. And here I thought I was right on time. And here I thought I'd heard the clock tower chime several minutes ago. She smiled disarmingly. Then again, that old bell has a reputation for being unreliable. Let's start off with a drink. I took the seat opposite Annie just as Garnet approached, a tray balanced expertly in one hand while the other side fiddled with the coin purse at her side. She winked conspiratorially at me. If it isn't my favorite employee coming to patronize his place of work, what'll the fine young pair be having on the house, of course? Who were these like old men we're sitting with? Why did we pick this table? Let's just have the daily swill. Nonsense. That's for the rest of the rebel. Your fine companion deserves better. I'll bring some wine. See, I knew that was the right answer. With the matter of the drink settled, Annie flashed one of her winning smiles, and we eased into the state of easy conversation, punctuated now and then by her gentle teasing and my playful rebukes. For a while, I forgot the macabre troubles that plagued me, and even the murmuring spirits became nothing more than another note in the din around us. I'm like surrounded by the creepiest. This guy's got like a plague mask on, it looks like. Oh no, that's his ear. Ghosts! Leave me alone, ghosts. But it didn't last. After some time, the thumb grew more accusatorial, condemning me for my distraction, for the crime of my joy. I could hardly maintain focus. Can you believe it, Turg? Turg! Oh, listening to me prattling on about disgruntled cooks and misplaced bedpans. It's no wonder your head is somewhere else. Oh, it's entirely my own exhaustion to blame. Perhaps we must do something to get your blood moving. Doctor's orders. Even as she smiled sheepishly, she blushed at her own insinuation. Oh, Dr. Kelly, what are you suggesting? She smiled and started to answer. Just then, a burst of laughter erupted from a table behind me. We turned to see Dietrich and Sophia caught in an uproarious howl, each of their faces turning red with merriment. Sophia touched Dietrich's hand affectionately, and he blushed redder than before. A stupefying happiness plastered across his face. Well, if it isn't just the sweetest thing. She looked at me with my pallid expression and tired eyes, then frowned with sympathy. Maybe this tavern has a few too many distractions. Let's take that walk now. We can start in the market. It's open late this evening for the festival. Oh, the grizzly bear! I almost forgot about it. Without waiting for my response, she stood and made her way towards the door, happy enough to free myself from the spirits in the crowded tavern. Hello, ghosts. Well, let's talk to all these ghosts. Also, who is Bence? In no mood for chat, I guess. Ghosts?
Hello.
Irving and Klaus.
I am Klaus the coachman.
Oh, yeah. I don't know how you do it after what we saw. After what we saw, I can't do anything else. I envy you, your carriages, your distance. My future is knee-deep in the mud doing what I can to make sure it doesn't happen again. Oh, man. So Irving is not going to be pro-necromancy. That's for sure. Annie, I'll be with you in 1 second. I just have to look at this grizzly bear. Beside the creature in the corner of a small enclosure sat a pile with scrapes and cooked meat. The bite marks were small and plentiful. Call out to the bear. He growled and swiped me away with his paw in a most un-Ursine manner. Grow away. You're awfully communicative for a bear. Great skills I have for a bear. Now grow and leave me to my garage. The bear raked his paws against the metal, making it rattle. When the vibrations settled, I noticed the latch to the cage was unlocked and loose. So how'd you come into the Great Marconi's procession? From a cub grazed. And where'd you learn to speak? Marconi, the Great Marconi. Why do you stay inside when there's no lock? Great danger out there. The creature's responses were not particularly illuminating, so I looked closer. Looked at the scraps of paper which lay on the cage floor and noticed several drawings of small cottages and phrases scratched out in sloppy script. Observed its teeth. They were clean and unstained. A plate of food. Bread and vegetables, as well as a small tankard tucked into the shadows. Its ears, sealed with small patches of fabric. Look, it's clear you're a man stitched inside a costume. Oh, mon Dieu, so many questions, one after another. Questions these, questions that. Why do you not leave me be? I was more surprised to hear a strong French accent emerge from the beast than I was to hear full, ungarbled sentences. I am a man, this is true. A man must be a bear for this silly man to parade about, but this must not be so, and I must not speak of it anymore. A curse sits upon my head, though. It is good to talk as a man once more. What's your name? Reynard. I was a hired sword in an expeditionary in far-flung colonies, but after the end of my last job, I could find no way home to France. I tried to steal the Great Marconi's horse, but I was hungry and not quick. How'd you come to be in that costume? I was ordered so by a judge and a sorcerer. If you try to steal a beast of service, you shall become a beast of service. Though the Great Marconi was not in the trial, the judge ruled in his favor, and the penalty should I break my bond. I do not wish to think of that. Who was the judge? Similar in bearing to Marconi, similar in spirit. This is why I think he ruled for him as he did. A powerful man. Oh my God, Marconi is the judge. Why don't you just leave? I'm cursed. A curse sits upon me, placed on that judge on behalf of Marconi. If I leave, I shall become a bear in truth, not just a man stitched into a suit. Time to consider the man's predicament. Reynard, you can't remain in this cage. Spend 1 skill point to leverage his deeply superstitious nature. As a man learned in the magical arts, I'm duty bound to lift this unjust curse from your shoulder. Come closer and I shall say an incantation and set you free. Can you really do this? Really? You know the way of curses? I do, and yours will be lifted. I uttered a few nonsensical phrases and waved my hand over the man's cage. He turned his head from side to side and gently pawed at the gate, which swung open with a creak. It's done! With one paw at a time, he slowly crawled out of the cage, remaining on all fours until he was entirely free of the container. Only after several minutes of puttering around the cobblestone did he stand up. For the first time, I could make out small gaps in the bear's throat and expose the man's eyes and mouth. I'm free of this terrible curse? Free? Just as the man's jubilation was taking shape, a sudden shout drew us out of our revelry. Good Lord, that bear has gotten loose! The guard drew his sword and ran in our direction, clearly intent on performing some insurmountable act of bravery, which was, in a matter of fact, not quite as insurmountable as he imagined. I had only a moment to act. Oh man, I can't believe I'm spending my agility. I'm spending 2 skill points on this grizzly bear. In a quick movement, I've redirected the blade harmlessly to the right of the bear, throwing the guard off balance. When he turned back to face me, I had just enough time to explain myself. He's perfectly tame. This is a performing bear, raised from a cub to be gentle. There's no need to harm him. We can't have creatures like this wandering around. Get him back inside that cage. Reynard crawled meekly into the cage, and I pretended to fasten the lock to Jonas's satisfaction. I've still got my round to finish, but I'll send someone along to keep an eye on the beast. When the guard was finally gone, the bear stepped out of the cage again. I'd better exit the city before another guard find me. Here, a payment! He grabbed his right paw and pulled it off, revealing a gaunt human hand underneath the frayed stitching. I've been told this is lucky. Got an unlucky bear's paw. But I do not wish for a bear's luck anymore. You take it. I shall now strike out along the North Road and hence home to Carcassonne. Au revoir. A bear paw glove. Sick. +2 mana. And now we have the right to bear arms. I'll see myself out. Atmosphere of that pub was dead. Ay-ya-ya. By the time I reached her, Annie was standing on the opposite bank of the stone bridge observing the market stalls. Sorry, Annie, I just had to go free a beer. Most of the merchants were packing up their ware, casting hopeful looks at the passersby.
Hello again.
I think I'd run a bookstall if I was a merchant. It'd be a rubbish saleswoman, of course. I'd refuse to sell any of the books I like, but it would be a nice business to ruin for a while. What about you, Turg? If you weren't a soldier, what sort of stall would you run? That's a good question. I would sell the strangest curios in all of Murns. I don't expect you to sell a thing. You'd have the same problem as me. You wouldn't part with a single artifact until you'd uncovered all its mysteries for yourself. Seems we're not meant for business. Shall we have a look around? This stall was largely depleted, several empty crates to be cleared away. Anything interest you other than your fine companion, of course? I looked up to see the merchant, expecting to see her familiar face contorted in a boorish laugh, but I was instead greeted by the grotesque visage of a corpse. Her skin was peeled and full of oozing pustules, and her hair thin and wisped like atop a rotted dome of her skull. A worm crawled from her left eye, reminding me of the apples on display. I staggered back and blinked in confusion, only for her to return to her normal form. A simple merchant woman smiling at me. I'll take the apples. My mind flicked back to the images of the worm burrowing from the wetness of her eye. A fine choice. Crisp and freshly picked they are. 1 crown, please. Certainly. We did spend our apple recently, so.
Hello again.
Did I find anything worthwhile? I'll be right back. My goods have caught your nose. I assure you, sir, the taste is even more potent than their smell. As he finishes speaking, the pleasant aroma shifted suddenly as though the wind had blown them away and replaced them with sweet putrescence. My nostrils stung with the sickening rot mingled with the decay of flesh and refuse. The stench was so foul that my eyes began to water, but to my bewilderment, Ikram simply stared and smiled. A wide selection. What would you recommend? A fine quality of powdered saffron from the Persian fields. Rather expensive. 3 crowns. A fine gift. Okay, well, I'm not buying anything else, that's for sure. I bought you some saffron. The spice? You know Javad won't stop talking about the stuff. It's not exactly Martin's greatest cook, but I'm sure he'd share a recipe or two. Perhaps I can have you over for a taste test. Shall we continue our walk before you buy up half the goods in Martin's? I'd like to see the sea. Good loophole. She took my hand and we strolled towards the sea. As we walked, Annie told me about her first impression of Marnes. She had expected a sleepy coastal harbor with slow afternoons and a dulling sun, but instead found a vibrant town replete with intrigue. At first, her musings calmed me and I forgot the apparitions that had visited me in the market, but just as quickly, a part of me spiraled, thinking about the true extent of these intrigues and the demands they placed on the greater task that I was undertaking. I love how, like... every time I'm like, I'm going to get distracted by something that's not necromancy, the necromancy is like, no, you should be doing necromancy. As my nerves grew more agitated, the whispering that had tormented me in the tavern returned, more distinct and clearly calling for me. The voices came from the graves that we walked past. Are you all feeling all right? Just admiring the evening sky. It's lovely, but it'll be even more lovelier near the sea. She stepped ahead of me and I could not bring myself to follow her right away. Something in the graveyard compelled me. The whispers held the promise of reward. Well, obviously, I'm going to enter the graveyard then. Don't you understand, game? I have ADD. Oh, goodness, Turg. I won't be following you in there. Hardly my idea of romance. I'll be by the water. Come join me when you come to your senses. As her voice receded, I found myself walking among the tombstones. A hint of pleasure entered into the whispers around me. Soon, I found myself before a gravestone with the names long since worn away. A visitor who can hear the whispers. How nice. How rare. A bit of company for me to keep this evening. What do you seek? Patronage. You have the smell of death about you. Death and undeath. But not quite there yet. Not like the one before. When you have his skill, raise my bones with the others. All right. Deal. Wonderful. A bond is broached. You may find it rejuvenating. I've not spoken this much in such a long time. So much effort that you might hear. Too much for now. He stopped and the calm filled the evening once more. I didn't know how much time had passed and wondered if Annie was still waiting by the sea. Sick. I got like +3 mana out of that. Here she is. Drown her, make her next plaything? I mean, I'm not a very good date, I guess. I found Annie sitting by the water. She's sitting in the water, actually.
Hello
but
again.
Managed to pull yourself away from the corpses, did you? The reddish hue of the sun turned her unusually pale face warm with amber and accentuated the fiery red of her hair, which billowed delicately in the evening breeze. Tonight has been such a pleasant respite from the dark things brooding in Marnes these last weeks, and look, even the sun has given us a perfect view. Let's stay here until the last sliver is beyond the horizon. It will get cold. I might, but I'm sure we'll manage to keep warm somehow. I looked at the beautiful Annie as she took in a ripple of red light against the sea and followed her gaze to the gentle waves that lapped against the stone walls below us. At first, I was taken by the delicate bend of her ankles and the high shoes strapped tightly and enticingly around her calves, secure and firm. Those crisscross straps drew my eyes up to her shapely knees and thighs where her short dress danced teasingly in the breeze. But as the waves undulated below, strange shadows began to play at my eyes. Tendril-like hands churned below the surface, their fingers lapping and folding over one another like slithering snakes. Is everything all right, Turk? Her words passed me as though the hands rose upwards, bringing a chorus of whispers with them. The ghostly palm with skeletal fingers wrapped itself around her ankle, delicately caressing her calf and stroked gently up towards her thighs. It then tightened around her leg as if to pull her into the depths. But another hand rose before me, bearing a piece of ghostly parchment, the inscription similar to those pages in my spellbook, which still confounded me. Even with its faint spectral glimmer, I could sense it held great power. I obviously reached to grasp the magical parchment and felt my arm brush against Annie as she fell into the water, her splash muted by the din of whispers around me. My fingers reached the inscription, but it only evaporated before me, joining the hands which had dissolved into nothingness as quickly as they had appeared. I looked then at the churning water where Annie had fallen and could not make out her shape. My vision was becoming cloudy and indistinct. From beside me, I heard a terrible gasp. Annie burst from the water near the small stone steps, her red hair matted and flat, her clothes plastered to her body. She stomped up the stairs. What a way to cap off an evening. A shove and a swim, is it? Your idea of a joke in this freezing water? I think our character's portrait is like getting more pale. That was an accident. I'm liable to catch something chilled to the bone as I am, and to think this would have been a pleasant evening. I thought perhaps it was not yet nearly over. She turned away so I could not see the tears welling in her eyes. I've just about enough of your company, Turg. Before I could respond, Annie marched off, her sturdy shoes squelching into the earth with each sodden step. I thought to go after her, but a whisper from the sea beckoned me and I turned towards it. Good. One cannot cling to the living if one hopes.
A healer from far off Ireland.
To wield death, your focus gives you strength. Yes! I made the right choice. Abandon earthly pursuits. Only the grave will save us. I felt something well inside of me, the power of my craft growing more robust and my attachments becoming less significant. Alone, I stood by the water until the last sliver of light crossed the horizon. Mana increased to 4. Is this new? 0 out of 0? Is this my skeletons? Four plus 3, nice. Well, that's done. Sophia, you got that book for me?
Hello.
Gah. Dietrich could also probably get it for me, but he won't even talk to me right now. So, all right, sorry, but the guy here was like, I want you to raise me. Well, I think we have a plan. It is evening. Can't even get laid. Have to be dedicated to the craft, right? I might just be schizophrenic at this point. This is true. Can I cast the Dominion of Phobos at both these places? Not yet, I guess. Who can see me? I don't see anybody nearby. Obviously, I could just do this at night, but that seems even shiftier somehow. Yeah, there's nobody. What happens if I do this? I just quick saved. Even though I myself had set the Dominia Phobos ritual, I still felt a great sense of foreboding as I walked near the plot. Can I do it here as well? Performing black magic. Okay, so I don't think anybody has seen me. Dig for the body. What? The grave yielded no skeleton or corpse. Most graves have been dug up and their inhabitants cremated and reinterred. But he told me to dig himself up. I had unearthed a complete human skeleton. Good. Pick up. Now, to get this skeleton home before anybody notices. I mean, home is right there, at least. Okay. Things are looking good. It was the next grave over. It was the grave to the left.
Can I help you, my lord?
Careful, sir. Although it's not my business, I cannot watch you engage in criminality without remark. I'm sure it's not as it seems. However, it is a serious offense in Marnes to move a dead body around. Your uncle is understandably unforgiving of such things. Dude, Albrecht is such a G. He's like, look, yeah, I'm not going to stop you. But just so you know, you will be in a ton of trouble if you get caught. Proceed with the ritual. One other number was to be compelled to inhabit the skeleton in my arms. Place the bones close to their final arrangement. I wondered if a consideration might yield a more robust thrall. I arranged the other components for the ritual, taking the witch's knife into my hand. I still struggled with the grip once more, but the blade was more docile now, ready to receive my instructions. I carved into the dirt and felt the ground yield to my touch, and the moment the glyph was scarred into the earth and the candles rested in their proper position, awaiting the words which would ignite their wicks. I chanted the ritual words and felt them snake from my throat and writhe into the world around me, wrapping themselves around the bone. Candles ignited and scarred earth glowed. The bones began to stir. The colors around me dimmed and the sounds dropped away until at last the bones rose to full stature. The skeleton towards me and was once again greeted by the familiar mouthless grin, but this time I was ready and I was strong. I'd fought the fog in my brain until it had passed. Good. Stay there. I have more skeletons to go get. Technically, that guy told me to raise everybody in that graveyard. And honestly, if we have a double Dominion of Phobos here right now... Yeah, see, here's the thing. I can't dig at this grave. I can only dig at that grave. So that one has already recently been dug. Man, thank God, like, nobody's around town right now. Cremated. Man, this ritual is working wonders. That's another Sketlington. Yoink. I do have to wonder, like, do I need to get rid of this Dominion of Phobos when I'm done? Or can I just leave it there forever? So this is two good skeletons. Now, the Undertaker might be like, where'd all these guys go? Good day, Mom. Don't mind me. I'm just up to some regular business. Just casually wandering around with a Sketlington. Good day, other Sketlington. Prepare to conduct the animate ritual again. Proceed with the ritual. Yes. Excellent. I can rename the skeletons. I can also equip them? Well, you're getting a scythe. I don't have any more boots, do I? Okay, so boots and pants and armor is all really valuable. We'll rename him Bones. Bones it is. What about the other guy? Skeleton. Equip. What can I give you? This axe, maybe? I guess for now, that's really all I've got. Die for the cause. Skeletor. So comes the flood of name suggestions. Here's a question. Can I close this thing? Probably. I probably want to make sure that stays shut. Just a wild thought there. Oh, man. Okay, so now we also need to start, like, gathering all of the armor. All right, let's get rid of that. So I do have to clean up after myself. Fiddle-dee-dee. $4. I'm trying to think, like, right now I'm literally trying to be like, where are there chests that I've seen items inside of? Boots. Hats. Honestly, I think that's it. There were some maybe like right when I entered my house. Oh yeah, look at this. 2 leather coats. Another set of boots. A tricorn hat. Not a lot of pants, but we got some other good stuff going on here. Bones. Let's get you dressed up, buddy. You can wear this leather hat. And Skeletor. You can wear this hat. So you've got 33% leather at least. The leather coat actually does give them armor. Strength 1, agility 1, con 1. Interesting. Sadly, they don't visually change. They only just get the weapon. What could go wrong with the trapdoor staying open? Well, you know. Bone addict. Time for skeleton pirates. I mean, that's kind of what we got going on right now. Okay. What am I waiting for? I'm waiting for that book, right? I'm waiting for that book. I'm waiting for... Okay, this one we can get rid of. This one we could get rid of. The friend we figured out. Wood alcohol is fine. We can keep that. The Book of Zechariah, we're fine. I don't have anything for the chicken thieves.
Can I help you, my lord?
So maybe let's just sleep? Goddamn ghosts are getting the better of me, man. Seeing spirits everywhere. How's mom doing? No, she's still whacked. What a beautiful day. I bet nothing weird has been happening in here.
What?
Good morning, Irving. Let's make a zombie bomb. Is this guy gone? Yeah, he's gone. Oh yeah, wasn't there also... No. I mean, I don't know how to find Sophia. So let's just pass into the afternoon. Yeah, she's always here in the afternoon. The drunk. Make money, sell into the skeleton's labor. Go ask the farmer if you could plow his field. Do you have my book? Yes.
There you are.
You might pay? All right, well, whatever. I'm out of here. Nerds. I must go home to my study. I must do my secret machinations. This book, mixed with spellbook. The holy text I had obtained contained enough information for me to decipher the ritual spirit slave without too much trouble. My eyes stung painfully as I studied it. This would allow me to bind to my will an ancient spirit and use it for spying or other purposes. The ritual required a holy file and knowledge of an ancient burial site. I recalled an esoteric book from my father's private collection which detailed some investigations of ancient burials nearby in the northern forest. No, I think probably in that bookcase inside is where I need to go. Nothing. Nothing. Okay, no, maybe it is one of those ones. Diary of a Barkeep is so interesting. Unknown barkeep in Ashen. The conquest of liches. Oh, the Van Elstrix. For all their heroism, has been declined to share the specifics of their triumph over the Lich in Rolstein. We killed the Lich? Oh, wow. Okay. Or like our father did. Fascinating. Both the Rolstein myths and the Bas-Selig stories of the Southern Balkans contain entities that cannot be killed by bullet or blade, but the exact nature of their defeat remains variable. Safe procurement of Devilwood. The Greek tale of Arachne. Oh, see, this is like... Oh, a note was tucked into this book. Zelig, this is the book I referred to in a recent discussion. I am reminded of the colored webs that have been reported in the canyon beyond the southern gate. The canyon. The key to the plague ritual may lie therein. What canyon is there to the southern gate? Arachne declared her weaving skills were superior to Athena. She revealed her true form at a contest was set. Yada, yada, yada. I have no idea. Spinning of mythical rainbow-hued webs. Ah, this is it. The stone circles near Mearns. Oh, the dolmen. A pleasant climate. Yada, yada, yada. Number of alignments of standing stones are known in the region, but none more famous than the circle in the forest not far northwest of the city. My friend of Martin spoke of buried artifacts there. Bronze weapons, bracelets, and pendants of amber. Numerous pottery urns filled with ash and mud. Some also whispered about some kind of ancient evil that lingered there amongst the stones. Accompanied by a local farmer and my retainer to defend me from wolves, we visited the site on a crisp December morning. I dug amongst the stones, finding only small shards of pottery, but as I dug at the base of the central dolmen, a creeping fear began to descend on all of us. A chill green fog rolled in from the sea, and I must admit that I did not complain hard when Mr. Pavlik insisted we flee. That evening, we recounted our adventure over mugs of ale, and some of the local men insisted we seek spiritual assistance before we returned to the site. I visited the head priest, Father Francisco Castelli, at a newly established and very fine cathedral. The great man accompanied us to the site that we might continue our work unmolested. On the second and final visit, we had scarcely begun to excavate before a howling wind whipped us up and tore at us. Father Francisco brought out the holy water and commenced his spiritual work. A presence moved amongst us. It shrieked and gibbered and tossed the very earth all about. The brave men remained even as the rest withdrew. Eventually, he too ran, driven away, screaming as a lunatic. It was a week before the poor sod could speak again. Great, that sounds like a fun time for us. What does our book say? Spirit Slave. We're missing this one. This is the one that's going to allow me to pass through walls. Though the magic and ancient spirit may be called back into this mortal earth to obey the commands of the enchanter, they must have a handful of personal artifacts, such as an item buried with it or a picture of it. To enact the ritual, place the artifact upon the grave of the spirit, together with a blessed holy file containing bones or ashes of the spirit's earthly remains. If the spirit does not wish to be invoked, the caster should intone idem autem extatelia ad vas revetletorium ad me ubes while smashing the holy file. Well, good news is very early on I gathered jars of holy water, so I'm assuming that counts. Yeah, shockingly, the holy file is not a problem. That's the easiest thing. All right. Everybody with me. Yeah, they're pretty fast. They'll protect me from the wolves. Not this way. But this way? I wonder if we can dig at those graves. At the dolmen? I mean, that's what I'm hoping for. Oh, yeah, okay. I need to go up into the northern forest. Here? Here? Where the hell is the entrance? Here? There. Like dangerously close to the edge of the city there with my undead minions. We've got the stag. Should we go visit the witch? I just want to like show off my my bone daddies to the witch, right? Oh, she's nowhere to be found. This hut is closed. All right. With me, bone daddies. Good thing no one's on top of those walls. No, it would be pretty obvious being like, hey, what's that young man doing out there again? There's no gate over there. How does he keep sneaking out? Ooh. Where is my sword? So nice. I get to still wear my father's ring. And that also gives me mana. And if I take my wand and put it here, I get another 2 mana as well. The path through the forest here was narrow with rocks and bushes on either side. I don't mind being ambushed here. Men appeared from behind rocks and trees and attacked me. Brigands. Activate minion. Death focus. Poison blast. Summon wraith. 7 mana. Call upon the wraith's Clarence Pew to join you in battle. Energy cost 40%. 4 AP. 6 mana. What else do we have? Poison blast. Strike an energy with the blast of poisonous energy. An enemy with the blast of poisonous energy. Click on a mortal enemy to target it. The further away it is, the less chance of success. Activate minion. Take control of an undead minion that has not already been activated this turn. Click on the minion to choose them. Control passes back to your main character when you click end turn. This also costs mana, but I have 10 magic points right now. So, summon bones. Come up here, bones. This costs 1 AP. Oh, man. The necromancy's real. Oh, shoot. I didn't see that guy. Damn, Daniel. You did some serious damage. What does Death Focus do? Regain magic points for AP. Apparently, I have a ton of magic points right now. Get wrecked, you dweeb. Where's the other guy? Aha. Poison blast. My wraith? Oh, man. Yes, this rules. What happened to Skeletor? Dead? 5 coins. Oh my god. Oh, equipment. Oh, bodies. Spears. And there's 3 corpses out here now. Skeletor, I'm sorry. Can I heal you? How do I repair you? At midnight, bone meal should be sprinkled over the injured bones and the words chanted. The bone meal should be from pulverized bones of an intelligent creature. The necromancer must wear a death shroud taken from a recently deceased body. I mean, I have that shroud. Skeletor, we'll be back for you one day. And I'll also be back for all of these brigands. Don't worry, we can bring him back to life. Man, I literally did not even see him get stabbed. I was not holding a spade. The dirt here was rocky and hard to dig. The wind whipped up, scattering dead leaves and dirt around me as I work. Eventually, I came across an artifact, a small shroud of pottery inscribed with a checkerboard decoration, and then another and a large piece, the base of a clay pot. I continued to dig, though I swear the wind itself was angry at me. Finally, my spade uncovered something that glistened orange in the light. I knelt down and uncovered a necklace of amber, an ancient thing. As I pulled it free of the clay, the wind suddenly died, fading rapidly in an almost human voice, an anguished moan before it was gone. Spirit slave. I did not have a holy file in my possession. Oh my goodness. Stay there. Oh, that's cool. You can just like move them. I probably don't want to wander around with a death shroud on. I feel like that might attract the wrong attention. So I need to find a file. A jar clearly won't do. I didn't think it was going to be that specific. But it does feel like that should be relatively easy to get a hold of. If I just go to the alchemist. Apothecary. Options. AC wares. Jar. I know these are files. Oh, sick, man. This amber necklace also gives me another 4 mana. General store?
Welcome. Of course. The best prices you can find in all of Mars.
Now I'm starting to get worried. Home? I think there's a bunch of jars in the basement, but I don't know about files. The kitchen? Wow, I really thought the apothecary would be like a shoo-in for that. Jar, jar, jar. Jar, jar, jar. Who would have a file? Spices and herbs. The general assorted goods. There's like a potter. He might have a file. You most certainly don't. That is the cathedral. That's not where I'm meant to go. Vegetables. Hardware. No. Is this town hall open? I just saw somebody come out of it. No. Jar. I know the blacksmith doesn't have a file. Though it's not going to stop me from looking at this point.
Aye? Is that so?
He does have helmets, which is really useful. And they're not that expensive, but also we're broke. Shazbot dudes. Dietrich's house? Pot, mortar and pestle, and a stove. Do I need to create the file?
Oh, hello
I don't
again.
think so. A blessed holy file. Shoot, maybe I do. Maybe I should have talked to Father Constantine when I just saw him come out of here. He's not banging anybody in the slums again today, is he?
Hello, sir.
Ah, just the man I'm looking for. Father, a word, please. I was hoping you could help me with my studies.
You flatter me. In truth, I am not yet knowledgeable. So soon out of the seminary at Cani.
Alright. That doesn't do much for me then. The candle maker?
How may I assist you? Certainly.
Yeah, you just have candles. Halen? Unlikely, but
Yes, what?
not him. I'm not sure where I would find this. Yeah, we pass out if we go in the cathedral.
Fresh bread, rolls, B-rocks,
What's
buns
B-Rock?
with meat and cabbage inside. So savory. From the homeland. Russia thinks they invented meat buns, but you and I know better, yes? These are popular in Stettin, but we eat them all over Brandenburg. Would you like one?
There is the chapel at the Dead Man's Gate. So this is where I can get holy water. Oh, there are guards up here with guns. So like I get sick coming in here as well. And there is access to holy water here. But if I don't have a file to put it in. I feel like I'm certain we've seen files. Give hint? Yeah, I mean, if you know where to get one.
I'll open the gate. Quick, get inside.
The hospital? It does say it needs to be blessed.
Hospital. You can ask, but I don't have an answer for you. I hardly understand anything the man says. Medical reasons. There, that's your answer.
I guess I could always ask these guys.
How can I help you, boy?
Dr. Christine Pfeiffer? I have no idea who that is. Absolutely none. So she might just like show up after we do some stuff. Oh, I thought this would be an obvious choice to unlock this spell. Ah! You know, sometimes you say something and then it's right in front of me.
Yes, child.
She looked red in the face and her hair had come undone, falling into her eyes. Father Constantine, you came back for the file you left. She finally turned to get a glance at me, and as I did, I felt pressure building in my head. A heat came off the stone of the cathedral, hot as a summer day. The rigid lines and angles of the church seemed to bend and misalign. I thought you were the priest who had just left on his duties. You look ghastly. You mentioned he forgot a file? A file of holy chrism. I doubt he'll need it, as though people are stubborn to the true faith. He's also not nearly as persuasive and kind as Father Olier. Think nothing of it. I merely thought he had come back to retrieve it. Perhaps I can take it to him. Entrust you with a vessel of holy oil? Regardless of what I think about you, that would be inappropriate. Why should I hand you something so important? This old woman was a tough nut to crack. Perhaps the priest himself would be more pliable. I just wanted to help the good father out. Doesn't really answer the question. Your intention may be pure, but your station is not. You're not a priest. You have no business asking. I cannot remove myself from my duties to go on a fool's errand, even to fetch a file for you to take. I'm not giving you the key to the scarcity, if that's your suggestion. What if I did the watching while you rested and fetched the file? I can't touch this church. That'll make me sick. I want to say how much I appreciate all the work you do for the first... Yeah, this is not going to work. I don't need your appreciation. I know you young nobles have none. This is the work that must be done by someone. Your faint appreciation does nothing but waste my time. Surely you can spare a few moments for Father Constantine. Spared enough moments for him already. It was he who was doing the washing, not I. Then as soon as I mentioned it, he announced he was going to his visitations to the poor people. All right. Now I have what I need. He says, having lost track of him again.
Hello, sir.
Well, he's got to be like coming back this way then. Can't just track him down, can I? Could he be like... in the tavern? I'm assuming he's just coming out here to see his baby daddy. Who are you? Analia. Well met, I'm Turg. Why are you sitting here alone? What do you do? None of your business. All right. I like the cut of your jib, lady. Your jib. It cuts well. Well, he's clearly not out here right now. I hate when you go too far and you can't teleport. Ah!
Yes?
And with this, he hurries away.
Yes?
Father? I guess I'm going to confront you. Someone's been a bit more fruitful with a member of his flock, I think. I don't like what you're saying. Turn your mind away from dark thoughts, my child. What's going on with you and Rosa? You shouldn't eavesdrop lest your mind give in to envy. You didn't answer the question. The words given to me in confidence are not mine to share. Surely you know that I cannot repeat her confessions no matter how innocent they might be. Remembered what I could about the conversation to find leverage. Why do I have to spend any skill points on this? I know what you're insinuating. You should guard your thoughts from such evil. I'm gonna confront him again and just say, she's admitted to me that you're the father in more than a holy sense. Surely you're not insinuating that she and I... He shuddered with feigned disgust. Blackmailed Father Constantine. Achievement unlocked. Who needs proof? A scandal is enough to get a priest censured, and then what? You surely would not preach in Mars again. They'd send me away from the flock from Rosa, and what do you want? A phial of holy chrism. I can't. Objects of these cannot fall from the church. They could be used for terrible. What do you plan to do with one? That is not your concern. Do you wish to abandon Rosa? This is your choice. If this is your approach, you must have a dark purpose in mind, but I cannot let Rosa remain in squalor and sin. I don't have a file with me. I'll send it by messenger to your manor. Let us never speak of this again. Sounds good to me. I don't want to talk to a priest if I don't have to. But I do want to bind this spirit. Albrecht, has a file arrived for me.
You, my lord?
Was something delivered? A small package? It burned my hand as I took it. I swiftly put it in my satchel. Thank you, sir. Well, we got what we needed. Let's go. Let's go bind a spirit. Out again into the woods. So it does seem like it's pretty safe for us to just raise whoever we want inside of our own home. Which is great, because I thought you had to be inside of a graveyard to do that originally. But perhaps it counts as a graveyard. Perhaps my home is a grave. And we will come back here at midnight and, like, raise all these guys back. I wonder if I can get bones to, like, pick up those corpses. Or carry some of those corpses back with me. Commence the actions described in the spellbook. The great stones of the dolmen stood before me like a giant's table, worn with the passage of time. The ancient trees beyond the stone circle bore witness, crowding out the sky. They leaned in quiet as if listening, waiting. The breeze stilled, yielding to some presence, me or another. The shadows beyond the circle flickered and moved, and I swore at times I saw eyes watching. Probably should have read this before I went to go do it. First I deal with the pottery shards. Carefully arranged them on the ground under the megalithic structure, fitting them as close to their original structure provided difficult in the dim light. I laid the amber necklace at the center. Dim light, man. It's literally the middle of the afternoon. It took nerve to place myself under the giant stone, which would surely crush me if it ever slipped after all the years it had stood. A pressure tightened around my chest. It felt like the air had become heavy through the circle, rested clear and empty. Even the shadows stretched up into the branches beyond the circle, no longer dancing. I produced a holy phial and packed it with the ashes I had found, then placed over the shards and the necklace. The air tightened again, this time around my neck. Oh man, I did not read my book properly for this. It's only a graveyard if it's next to a church, otherwise it's a cemetery. Oh. Well, I didn't know that. I mean, we are next to a church. Level my palm in front of me facing north. I call you back from the earth. I shifted my palm to the east, into the air. With a thrust, I pulled my hand back to me as a fist, and I bind you to me. The tightness of my throat strengthened, choking the words from me. Around the stone circle, shadows loomed and writhed. The darkness wrestled the vision from me, save for dots of red. Heat rolled off my neck, leaving a trail of sweat, and I swore I felt a hand press there, squeezing. Had I done something wrong? A growl thundered in my ear, a refusal. Dude, I did not read this spell before we started doing this properly. Did I save right before this? Yeah, I did. Normally, I'm smart enough to check this, so I know what I'm doing. The enchanter must have to hand a personal artifact, such as an item buried with it or a picture with it. To enact the ritual, place the artifact upon the grave of the spirit together with a blessed holy phial containing bones or ashes of the spirit's earthly remains. If the spirit doesn't wish to be invoked, the caster should intone while smashing the holy phial. you got to do, I guess, both parts. I feel like the amber necklace is the one I should be using here, because it's got to be something that like belongs to them. Assuming these beads once belonged to the spirit house within, I reached in and laid them on the earth. The capstone loomed over me. Around the amber, I arranged the pottery shards. The pressure tightened around my chest, felt like the air had become heavy, though the circle rested clear and empty. Produced the holy file, yada yada yada. Dude, I don't know that I need to do this like north stuff. Ancient spirit, hear me and heed my call. I command you to return to this realm and tether your essence to mine. Arise and do my bidding. A refusal. Idem otum existentia ad vos reveratur ad me iubis. I reached out and snatched up the phial of ash. Swift came the crunch of glass as I threw it against the earth. As the ash flowed over the clay and amber, a great billow of smoke arose thence into a bright white flame. With it came a scream of anguish, of anger, radiating out like an unbreaking wave. Bright images washed over me and overtook me, too fast to focus upon, too great to ignore. Aha! Thankfully, our constitution is killer good. We don't have to spend any points here. My mind reeled under the assault and my step faltered, but I caught myself, steeled against the emotions and images crowding out my own psyche. I stared forward, gritted my teeth, and focused on the source. In the center of the flame, a form melted into view. Therein, the conflagration spied a face, found the eyes, and pushed back with all my mental might. The assault halted, and in those eyes I saw interest. She, for the figure was she, stared at me, watched me, eyes narrow and searching, hands out to lash at me. Long braids of hair flowed out from her, clasped with clay beads. Her face bore painted lines and dots, and around her neck was the ghastly form of the same necklace, which now lay on the earth unblemished by the fire. Mana increased to 5.
Zala, Aska, Damel, Tremir.
An ancient bronzed-aged soul dreamer.
Zala, Aska, Damel, Tremir. Zala, Zostrala, Varo, Svazatilingov.
These were not words, but were something else. Images, emotions, but I did not understand them. Zala, I mean, obviously her name. Sure, forcibly bind an angry spirit. What could possibly go wrong? I'm a necromancer. This is what we do.
Zala.
Turg. It was not my name, she had said. In fact, she didn't say it at all, but rather the concept of me, so I realized that Zala was the concept of her. Stars, water, rope, bird. Water? Stars, water, morning, evening. They came at me fast and disorganized. I could not discover an emotion tied to them, as if there was one I had missed. I don't understand. Comet, fire, dead bird. These arrived with a hint of desperation, mounting of effort, and then of exasperation. It was too complex for me, though. Perhaps if I had put more time into academic study, I might have worked it out. Aha, cool. So if you take the academic route, you could probably figure this out. Yeah, I don't understand stars either. Bird? Birds flooded my senses as if I was fallen into a cloud made of starlings. With them, elation, hope, and desire welled up inside of me, so much that I felt my eyes sting with tears and my voice catch in my throat. It was a symbol of something the spirit wanted, to fly away to be free, but I had only just summoned her. I was not about to free her. A hopelessness washed over me as I said no, but it felt expected. Rage replaced it, boiling up in my blood, but less so than before, suppressed. Rope. Rope, wound, knot. The ideas arrived full force with anger and hatred. The sensation was foreign, and yet I felt them somewhere inside of me, as if I was angry with myself and hated myself. The idea was clear, though. I had bound her, and she was angry, seething with rage about it. All right, I knew enough. The way we interacted, she and I were sharing emotion, images, and ideas. This was conversation. She could not understand my words, nor I hers, separated as we were by millennia, but concepts transcended languages. This is how we could speak. She stared at me, watched me, studied me. If I looked one way with effort, I saw her, but she faded from view if I relaxed. I could feel her seething and disdain as my own. I saw what she saw, heard what she heard. She was like I and her were the same person, and that person hated me with every fiber of its being. You are a child, an infant. Layered in with the anger and rage lay something doubtful, something like pity. I was a child, the infant to her. I knew nothing. Flashes clouded my vision, emotion rupturing my being as the assault returned. A glimpse of something, the stone circle in the trees, beyond a writhing math of shadows reaching ever closer. The world too, bright and alarming. Us, me, her. I found her within myself and enclosed her in my will. The feeling, visions, and sounds all shrank as I pressed and pushed and pulled with my mind, separating myself from Zala. I molded the idea of her into a tiny ball, an opalescent pearl of emotion hidden deep within the recesses of my mind. Her image remained before me, but no longer was I so connected to it. Yet I know I simply had to call upon her, and I could see through her eyes, hear through her ears, and feel through her body as though when she first appeared. Zala was a tool that I now harnessed. She was compelled to follow my summons and my intent when I required it. Until then, she would wait here. Great. So now we have a spooky ghost. A second spooky ghost. Now we have a combat ghost and a non-combat ghost. So with that, we should be able to enter in the walls of the keep. I still don't know about who else is grave robbing. But it'll help us push through some things. They are super spooky. Yeah, we have all these corpses here that we got to come back at midnight to deal with. Honestly, oh, pick up nearby body. Yes. Good job, Bones. So we're going to bring these brigands back. And this way we can raise Skeletor back in the safety of our home. Now we're necroing, right? And we're getting like significantly better in terms of, you know, we have 14 mana that we can use now. With the wand, the father's ring, the amber necklace, and the beer paw glove. Does the Death Shroud also give me mana? No. But I'm assuming eventually we'll start getting some like magic armor. So we'll sneak these back back in through the tunnel. Imagine like the children run out here and they're like, hey, what are you doing? What did I miss? You had a work meeting? We just bound a spirit to our will. And we can now use it as like a scout. Basically, we can like send it wherever we want and we can see through its eyes. We can sort of become the spirit. We also have a couple of skeletons. Well, we have a skeleton. Our other skeleton got killed, but you know, Bones is bringing him back, and we got attacked by some brigands. So I was like, I'm gonna pick these brigands up, and I'm also gonna raise these guys from the dead. Yeah, so we have Zara, who was like a Bronze Age. I don't know what they called her, like a dream seer or something like that. And we have Clarence Pugh, who was the noble who lived in our mansion before us. We have him as a wraith. Yeah, we actually did combat and we got to cast like a lot of spells. The big thing I don't have right now is equipment for all my skeletons. They need armor, they need weapons. I think mostly they need armor. fill our tunnels with corpses. You know what? This is probably good, man. You can drop the body there. And honestly, Skeletor, I think... Sorry, Bones. You can stay there for now. So we can bring these guys back to life, and that's exactly what we're going to do as we get ready to make our way into the keep with our spooky spirit ghost in the next episode. So come back, join us for that, and we'll see you back here next time. Until then.